Shutterstock Music.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am Big D down here in Baton Rouge. You all know West School. I rep the Valley out of Itabena, and I have on with me, of course, you know, the founder of Black College Experience up there in Atlanta, the Queen Diva Kels. How you doing?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Just, not too happy right now. I know you're happy that your NFL team won, but my NFL team's not faring so good right now, so I'm not in a happy mood right now.
What is okay? I'll leave the Chiefs alone right now. Well, we'll kick it off. We'll kick it off tonight. We have a lot of stuff that's going on. We have a lot of great football, some nail biters, some escapes, all types of things that happen this weekend. Some great things you got right now. You got football getting ready to wrap it up. You got basketball coming in. You got soccer. You have swimming over at Howard. You have so many things going on. It's just crazy. Volleyball is going on, which brings us to my point, or to the point that we actually have Alabama State's head coach that's coming on in the second half, Coach Lucas White. So I am super excited to hear what she has to say because it's just crazy what she has done with those girls, back to back, 4 championships within 4 years.
Right.
So she's been grinding it out with them, really grinding it out. But we'll start off over in the SIAC. This weekend is what I call the revenge of it all. Everybody was grinding it out in the SIAC. It was so many great games. I got a chance to go over to Columbus and actually see the Fountain City Classic. That's where Albany took on Fort Valley. In that game, such a great game. However, to end that game out, we were super shocked because being that, Fort Valley is going to play in the championship this weekend.
Right.
I was kind of shocked that they lost. They did lose, though. They did lose that game. I think it's 3-34 or 34-9. 34-9. They did end up scoring one touchdown, but they did end up losing that game. Really great time. Got a chance to meet some people. Just a lot of camaraderie, but it was one of those things. I just didn't understand how you could be going in to play in a championship game, which you're going to play against Tuskegee. Fort Valley plays against Tuskegee next week in Fort Valley. This game is set to meet next week, November 11th at 2 p.m. at Fort Valley. So I might get in the mix of that. But for them to fall like that, they did not play as if they were going into this championship game. Miles as well. Miles fell to Tuskegee 50-20. That's a blowout, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That is a blowout.
But I wanted to ask you, do you think Fort Valley State rested their players knowing that they had already clinched a spot in the championship game? Do you know if that happened? I mean, did they start,
Could have been the case. I don't think so, but the thing is that, it was such a shift in what happened. I could not believe, and that could have very well, I didn't think about it, that could have very well been the case. They could have rested the starters. They could have rested them, which would be smart because if they're playing Tuskegee, they're going to need it. They're going to need it playing Tuskegee. But you look at a Fort Valley Wildcat team, you look at a team that's undefeated in their conference, and then it comes up and they lose this game. So it could have been the case that they actually did.
Well, Slade Jarman did play the game. That name is very familiar to me because he played last year for my alma mater. So congratulations to Slade Jarman. He moved down a division, but now he's going to be playing for a SIAC champion. So, we had a championship caliber quarterback on our football team that decided to leave. So. Yeah.
So in the end, let's see, Kentucky State, Benedict, Kentucky 16, Benedict is 20, Fort Valley was 9, Albany was 34. Again, Tuskegee was 50, and Miles was 20. I mean, they were playing neck to neck in the beginning. That game got out of hand.
Right.
Another game. Go ahead.
You fair talk about that blowout in Atlanta?
So I was getting ready to hop into it, but go into it. That game surprised me. But go ahead. Go right ahead.
Well, I saw that score between Clark, Atlanta, and Morehouse, and that's a rivalry game. Talk about putting a stamp on beating up on your rival. I mean, that was a Craig versus Debo type of fight. You know what I'm saying? 40-0. And Clark, Atlanta has a good offense.
Yeah. The funny thing is that I actually talked to people from Morehouse from their athletic department prior to, and that was the thing. Fast, smart, hard. It's his saying. And they were saying that they were going to get the win. But when I saw that after the fact, when I got back from Columbus last night, that complete shutout. Shut them out. Completely shut them out.
Shut them down. Shut them down. Shut them out.
Absolutely.
And wow, I wasn't expecting that. I have one more question before we move on. Do you know how they determine the location for the championship game for the SIAC?
It's so many questions on that, because before it was a neutral location, then it was played in Montgomery, which is only 45 minutes from Tuskegee. So, I don't really understand how, and that's something I would actually have to ask somebody in their conference as to how, they determine that and how they actually pick the location. Because they, like I said again, it's been said that even when the location was in Montgomery, being 45 minutes from Tuskegee, it still did not draw a large crowd.
Right.
So, I guess it just depends on who's there. But even if this is the case, this is going to be a very good matchup, again, with Tuskegee being, of course, the expected contender from the beginning of the season versus, Fort Valley. Fort Valley was not expected to finish that where they are. So we'll see what happens. I think a lot of people, I really expected Albany State to a lot better than they did. So.
Right. That you with all that win?
No, I believe that's me.
PP, what's going on? That's my line brother, Patrick Perry, calling in.
What's up?
From the Delta. We haven't gotten on the SWAC yet, PP. We're talking about the SIAC right now. We just ran down the SIAC, and we're talking about Tuskegee and playing against who they're playing? Fort Valley, Fort Valley State, and we have a connection to that team. Slade Jarman is the quarterback.
Yeah.
So. But, ready to jump over to the CIAA, or we got some more SIAC to talk about?
We can go over to the CIAA, that's fine.
All right, in the CIAA this week, the championship game was also decided, but we're going to talk about the other games in the conference this week. St. Augustine defeated Shaw on homecoming and also claimed the Raleigh Classic trophy, 31-14. Two classes in the CIAA this weekend, that being one of them. The second was the commemorative classic between Johnson C. Smith and Livingstone, and that was won by Johnson C. Smith, 27-14. My boy Carlo Thomas doing his thing, had 2 interceptions. And the defense also scored a touchdown for Johnson C. Smith in that game. The next up was, of course, Bowie State blowing out Elizabeth City State 77-21. Amir Hall has been unconscious. I mean, he has just been unconscious this year. He has another year. He didn't get a chance to get to the championship game again, which was his goal. But next year he comes back for his senior year, which will be his goal again. This next game was to decide a participant in the CIAA championship game between Fayetteville State and Winston-Salem State, last year's champion. Well, Fayetteville State, no one expected them to be in the championship game, but they will be one half of the competition for the CIAA championship game as they defeat Winston-Salem State 23-22. That was an awesome back and forth game, and Fayetteville State is a surprise entry into the CIAA championship game. But they're gonna have a tough task, as the other half of the championship game was decided also between Virginia Union and Virginia State. And it was also a 1-point thriller. Virginia State continue to keep themselves undefeated with a 40-39 victory over Virginia Union. In-state rivalry game there. Rest of the games for this week will be Chowan defeating Lincoln 73-30. That's our basketball score. And that will create this matchup. Fayetteville State versus Virginia State. Now, before we move forward, we didn't get a chance. We didn't pick the winner of the SIAC game. So, Kels, who do you think is going to win the SIAC championship game?
Definitely think in this case, y'all know I don't really bet against Tuskegee. Last year, I do consider, again, a fluke as to how they lost out. I don't believe they're going to repeat and lose again, so I'm definitely taking Tuskegee to win this. PP, Tuskegee, or Fort Valley?
I'm going to go with Fort Valley because Tuskegee can be offensively challenged, and I think Jarman is going to prove he's on a mission as well. You know what I'm saying? He's put up.
I think you're picking them because of the Valley connection. I'm not picking no Valley connection here. I'm rolling with Tuskegee. Tuskegee is too strong. All right, now the CIAA championship game between Fayetteville State and Virginia State. Kels, who's your pick?
Of course, of course, you can't gamble on you can't gamble against an undefeated team. Virginia State has shown week after week after week that they've only gotten stronger, even finishing out with beating their opponent with about 1 point. So I'm definitely taking Virginia State to win this game.
All right, PP, who's your pick? Virginia State or Fayetteville State?
Virginia State, they're on a mission, and they're just going to continue to roll.
Exactly. And I'm going to make it a trio. I'm going to roll with Virginia State also. The Trojans will defeat Fayetteville State in the CIAA championship game. And I don't think it's going to be close. I know Fayetteville State has had a successful season. They surprised some people. But Virginia State, like you both said, they're on a mission to claim this championship. And I think they will definitely do it. So that's what we have for football in Division 2. Are we ready to jump over to the SWAC?
Let's go straight into the SWAC. We had a lot of matchups directly going on last night. You got to experience firsthand. So I guess let's start here with Southern since you were there. First and foremost, shout out to you for that play-by-play on the thread. I was in the middle of nowhere. I could get no reception. I was trying to follow the thread, so I was like, I couldn't text you because I still couldn't get the signal. I got that first thing when you said 7-7. That's the only score I saw, period, until I got on the road heading back.
Right.
I didn't see no more scores. So, of course, I'm livid because I'm like, we got to win this game. So, shout out to you for that play-by-play coming through on that. But go ahead with what happened last night.
Well, this was an awesome game. Back and forth game. Of course, your Jacks pulled away late to win the game 37-31. They struck first. Austin Howard found Devin Beard for a 31-yard touchdown pass. Prairie View came right back, a 17-yard pass from Nico Hollins. Then there was a field goal by Southern, which made the game 10-7. Kadera Haas caught a 12-yard pass from Nico Hollins to make it 14-10 Prairie View, but Austin Howard would not be denied, finding Houston on a 5-yard pass to give the Jaguars a 17-14 lead. And that was our score at halftime. Now, coming out from halftime, Prairie View decided to try to take control of the game. Stephon McCray scored on an 8-yard run to make it 21-17 Prairie View, and then Zach Elder connected on a 24-yard field goal to make it 24-17. Herb Edwards busted through the Prairie View defense for a 24-yard run, and that made the score tied 24-24. In the fourth quarter, Austin Howard found Edwards again on a 21-yard touchdown pass, which gave Southern a 30-24 lead. They then missed the extra point. Howard found Beard again for his second touchdown, fourth in 2 games, to put Southern ahead for the final score of their night, 37-24. But Prairie View in typical Prairie View fashion, would not go away. They did score one more time, which made the score 37-31. But with a chance to win the game, Prairie View had a drop pass on 4th down. And when that pass was dropped, when it hit the ground, you could hear the fans in the stadium roar loudly. I mean, they were so excited. Austin Howard had an awesome game, throwing for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. He has now become the all-time leading passer as far as passing yards and touchdowns in Southern University history, passing Dre Joseph. That's awesome to have the top 2 passers in Southern University history be from the same hometown. That's amazing. That means Southern keep recruiting players from Wallace, Louisiana, or from Vacherie, or from that area, because they produce quality athletes, as the record books will show. So this win helps keep you up pace with Grambling. Of course, there's one more game to play in the SWAC East before the Bayou Classic, Texas Southern next week. But like you said, you did need to win this game to keep pace with Grambling, because that's the show. Everyone wants Grambling and Southern to be undefeated in the SWAC West, so that the Bayou Classic can decide who will play for the SWAC championship game. Kels.
Right, absolutely, and it's one of those things. And we'll go to Pine Bluff and Grambling next. But it was one of those things. You can't. It's just like you said. Prairie View is one of those teams. They just will not go away. They will not.
Like
and
a
I've
gnat
been saying this for years. They play for 4 quarters. They play all 4 quarters. And we can look back at even when they play was at Sam Houston. Even if you look back at those games, they were still trying to keep it alive, even in those last 4 quarters, playing games out of conference. So they did. They gave us a run for the money. They played a hell of a game yesterday, 37-31. They played a hell of a game. Just by the grace of God, thank God that the Jaguars, we pulled it out. We came out with the victory because, again, this was a must-win game for us, and we knew how important it was. So for us to be able to pull that out, a very good feeling going into next week. Very, very, very proud of Austin Howard, Tiller, Johnson, because, of course, they're graduating this year. So
exactly. It was senior night, too.
Yep, I know. Senior night, high school night. So it's or a preview day, rather, for high school. But to get to experience, your very last game and to get that win in your home stadium, your very last game that you're going to play in college, has to be a great feeling. Grambling and Pine Bluff. Let's go to Patrick.
All right.
I need your opinion first. Patrick, what was your opinion?
Grambling and Pine Bluff.
Yeah, Grambling and Pine Bluff. Grambling defeated Pine Bluff 31-26.
That's it, man. Pine Bluff they might not win a lot of games, but that read option that they run is going to give a lot of team problems. And Grambling found out, just like we found out, they're going to play hard for 4 quarters as well. UAPB.
All right. So the big buzz around this game is how Pine Bluff was able to stay with Grambling, because Pine Bluff, of course, has not had a good season, and Grambling is the proposed crown defending SWAC champion of last year. I'm pretty sure no one expected Pine Bluff to stay with Grambling, but like I always say, football is played on 100-yard football field, not on paper and not in the mind. Pine Bluff did not care that Grambling was undefeated in the SWAC West. They were coming to try and, defend their home field and upset Grambling in the process, and they came very close, Kels, very, very close.
It was one of those cases like they couldn't stop the run game. They couldn't get to the quarterback. And then with Pine Bluff, they were actually putting pressure on Kincaid. So this game, looking at the score, 31-26, it could have went either way. They did, of course, end up with the W, but being that close, they could have easily lost that game.
Exactly. I mean, Pine Bluff kind of exposed Grambling's defense a little bit. They piled up 275 yards rushing. 275 yards gained, but they lost, of course, 63 yards with sacks. And so a total of 212 yards rushing put up on the Grambling Tigers football team. And if and that's something that, Southern can, watch this film to look at to possibly attack the Grambling defense because, Austin Howard can run in read option, but that secret weapon in the read option will be John Lampley, I think, because that's his specialty, running the football from the quarterback position. But I wasn't necessarily shocked that Pine Bluff stuck with Grambling. We were able to play Grambling tough, despite their wealth of talent. But it was good to see a competitive football game late in the year. That shows you that Pine Bluff has improved because my Delta Devils defeated Pine Bluff. So for our only SWAC win, I was glad to see them compete tough with Grambling. But to run down the rest of the SWAC scores, Alcorn ran over Alabama A&M in a matchup of SWAC East contenders. Alcorn showed like they are the contender and showed like Bama A&M was the pretender, running over the Bulldogs 47-22. My Delta Devils allowed a team to get their first win for the second consecutive week. I hear you, PP. I had 0-8 ready in case we were able to defeat Texas Southern, but I had to put him in hiding probably forever. We lost the game 38-21, but we were down 21 points, but we came back to tie it up, and Texas Southern had another burst to defeat us. So were you at the game?
Yeah, I saw that whole.
Talk to us about the game. How do you feel it went? Did you feel we were totally out of the game? Did we have a chance to possibly, miss chances to possibly get back in the game and win?
Okay, we got down. We had one of the best passing teams in the FCS, number 12, but our defense is like was dead, and they rushed down our throat. 21-0. Them boys came back. They scored at the end of the half to make it 21-7. Got the ball at the end, beginning of the second half. Scored again. Stopped Texas Southern. Came back and tied the game 21. They went down, rushed, and scored to get to 21-28. Texas Southern. We stopped a third down at the end of near the end of the third quarter, and they punted the ball, and they called a roughing the passer. Roughing the kicker. Instead of running into the kicker, they called a roughing the kicker. Automatic first down. Texas Southern goes down to score.
Oh, you gotta say Texas Southern now. KLs ain't gonna like you calling Texas Southern.
Yeah, Texas. Yeah, they went down and scored on us, and we were still in the game even in the fourth quarter, but when you have a true freshman, Fowler started the whole game for over 300 yards again. Miguel Fresh had 3 touchdowns. He had all 3 touchdowns for Valley.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah, he balled out. If he comes back his senior year at Valley, he's gonna be the best receiver coming back in the SWAC.
Let's hope so.
Without question.
All right, so moving on to Jackson State University's homecoming. Which was spoiled by Alabama State. The Alabama State Hornets defeated Jackson State 13-3, and I'm happy because we let them get their first win. So yes, I wanted them to lose because that keeps them behind us in the SWAC. Kels, what do you think about this game? What do you think about the Tigers losing homecoming to Alabama State, who has won 3 straight games in a row since their coaching change?
It's really not a surprise. Like, homecoming, first game, last game. They've been on a losing streak, so it shouldn't really been a surprise. So it really was no difference, in my opinion, with them losing homecoming versus any other game because they've been losing the whole season. But, I think this is one of the things where you start to look at Alabama State. Should they have made this change a long time ago? Would they have been in a better position? Would they have been a contender in the East? These are things that you have to factor in because if you look at it, they've won, 3 straight games since they made this change. So, getting ready to come in, what will they do next is the next question. And we know that they're competitive in every other sport, but next year, what will be the difference? Will they have the same guy? What's going to happen? Are they going to be competitive in football next year? All these different factors that could, happen. But you look at this and say, okay, should they have made the change prior to when they did it, like the beginning of October? They probably should have did this way before, and waiting did not help the feat. So
right, and I'm trying to find updated SWAC conference standings, but I'm unsuccessful because, Alabama A&M losing to Alcorn kind of almost solidifies Alcorn as being the number 1 seed. I was trying to see, was there anything that could occur that would allow Bama State to slip into that spot?
I know. Bama State Alcorn has the lose out, and Bama State has the win out. They only got like a 5% chance of winning it.
So if Alcorn loses next week and then loses to Jackson State, which I'm not gonna lie. I was born in Jackson. I want Alcorn to lose that game. I would love to see Bama State, even though Bama State wins championships in other sports, but for them to have such turmoil that they had, for them to look as inept as they looked on the football field, to have a turnaround with a interim coach and flip the script, so to say, that would be the ultimate Cinderella. What do you think about that, Kels?
Yeah, I think that would be the ultimate thing, to have someone turn around. Of course, I really would have liked to see Alabama A&M or Jackson State this year. That's just my prediction. But, of course, you can never count Alcorn out. They're playing the ball as they need to, so they're actually doing better this year. But, at the end of the day, it would be great to see a turnaround like that, because everybody has counted that, of course, hadn't counted on that happening, but it would have to be multiple things that happen. Grambling would have to lose as well. So it's multiple things that would actually have to push them into that number 1 spot. And on that note, we've got to take a commercial break.
All right, we'll be right back with more Black College Experience after this commercial break.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's gonna happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with more Black College Experience, and we were just talking about happenings in the SWAC as we are getting down to the nitty-gritty, trying to decide championships with 2 weeks left in the regular season. Grambling and Southern look to be on a collision course to decide the SWAC West. A surprise team in the SWAC East after a coaching change is Alabama State, and I was able to find those divisions on Fox. Alcorn is at 4-1. Bama State's at 3-2. Grambling is at 5-0, and Southern is at 4-1. So Southern needs to win out to topple Grambling to solidify their chance to go to the SWAC championship game, and so does Bama State. That would be so nice. With me being in Baton Rouge, yes, I'm full blood Delta Devil. But me being around this Southern football program, yes, I have a certain rooting interest for them because I cover them for my radio shows. I've gotten to know some of the players, so yes, I want them to be successful. So yes, I'm not gonna lie, Kels. As many Jaguars as you've had on this phone with me, you haven't swayed me, but I do want Southern to defeat Grambling in the SWAC championship game, and I also want them to defeat Texas Southern next week to solidify their spot in the SWAC championship game in Houston.
And, that would be the ideal thing, of course. We pump so much into the athletes. We pump so much time, so much encouragement, so much into these young guys. And we just have to remember that they're kids. But of course, I feel the same way. We want nothing more than to see our guys go on and to play, in those major games. Like I said, we're 1 game at a time. Next week is Texas Southern. We'll stop and pause there. Shout out to Texas Southern, who led the way for the Astros parade, World Series parade. They out there leading the way. Even the softball team and baseball team too. So you had some teams out there with the team, and they had the band out there. Of course, saw it today, Sounds of Dynamite. They did the halftime show for the Saints game. So more and more exposure with our HBCUs, with our HBCU bands, with just bringing them to the spotlight and letting them perform at these halftimes. But, again, I would love nothing more than for my team to go out here, win next week, go on to Bayou Classic to win, SWAC championship, and then come to Celebration Bowl. That is the ultimate goal. So, every year that's the goal, but we'll just have to see. Just keep pressing and praying on it because we want the Jaguars in Atlanta.
Right. I would definitely like to see that. But moving right along to the MEAC in football, a lot of the MEAC is, of course, also trying to decide their champion. They don't have a championship game. Theirs going to be decided by whoever has the best conference record. But this week's games, Savannah State defeats Delaware State 35-21. Bethune-Cookman beats up on Morgan State 41-28. Howard comes back to defeat FAMU 37-26. North Carolina Central keeps their championship hopes alive by defeating Hampton 14-6. And of course, the beast of the MEAC, North Carolina A&T, beats up on Norfolk State 35-7, staying undefeated. That is a tough team, and with them losing Tariq from last year's team, did anyone think that North Carolina A&T was going to, play this well? I mean, losing such an important part of your offense.
I said at the beginning of the season that I was going to take A&T, and I think you said Central. I took A&T from the beginning. So, yeah, I still had A&T, even though they lost to Central last year. I still had North Carolina A&T. Now, I ain't going to say I knew they were going to be undefeated. Now, that would be a lie. Okay. So, it looks like Coach Pennie is calling my phone instead of calling in to the line.
Well, go ahead and conference her in.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to have to end it.
All right. But we're going to, while Kels gets everything together with Coach Pennie, we're going to talk about some other results in the MEAC. Well, PP, talk to me. What do you think about the North Carolina A&T and North Carolina Central potential clash for the MEAC championship? If both teams continue to win.
Interesting angle that kind of thing. I brought it up before on Facebook.
Well, the thing is, I keep losing you, Fred. You going in and out. You going in and out.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I said A&T. I think they're number 5 or 6 in the nation now, undefeated. And would it be the best thing?
All right, she's
the year in which the people, this is the year in which the playoff people want them to be in the playoffs because of their record and rank or whatever. And what do y'all think? Would it? I mean, how do y'all want to see? I think it would be a great thing for A&T to go in there top 5 ranking and Grambling to go in. This is assuming that they get past Alcorn.
Right.
If Grambling go in, they could go in as a top 10 team. That would be a great look for the.
Well, I know Kel doesn't like your SWAC pick. So, but I just heard I'm personally want to see Southern win as well, but I'm just saying if they were to get past Southern, Grambling were to get past Southern. So I just heard the tone that lets us know that our
before we take the coach, let me say this, and this has been a known fact. People won't admit it. You can have the best team. There have been a few instances when Grambling had the better team at Bayou Classic and Pete Richardson beat them. So I just need people to focus on that. You can have any given Sunday, a team can lose is what people lose focus on.
Exactly.
Anything can happen. And that's what you want to do. You want to shift the focus. You want to shift the focus from, okay, well, we know we going to win is what they're thinking. And that's what we're like, okay, we know we can beat you. But, the trash talking really doesn't get me. It's like, okay, you still got to play the game. But on that note.
Kels?
Derek? Oh.
Go ahead and introduce our guest.
All right. So we have Coach Pennie Lucas. Again, she is the head volleyball coach from Alabama State. I just said I could not wait to hear this story because she has so many accolades. I mean, the undefeated streak. She has won so many SWAC games back to back to back to back. I actually lost count until she told me how many she was winning. Once I heard this, I was like, we got to bring her on. So I'm not going to stall this. I'm going to go ahead and say, just go ahead and bring on Coach so she can tell you what she's doing in the SWAC.
Good evening, Coach Lucas White.
Good evening. How are you?
Oh, we're doing fine. We're doing great. We're glad to have you on with the Black College Experience so you can talk about the program you have built over at Alabama State. And I was trying to, like I said, I was trying to pull up the standings, but of course the SWAC hasn't updated it yet. But I'm pretty sure you can tell me how many games you've won. So go ahead, and we're gonna turn the floor over to you to talk about yourself. What made you decide that you wanted to be a coach, and just your coaching journey.
Oh, wow. Well, first, I want to say thank you so much for having me. And
thank you for coming.
You bet. I actually said in a very soft whisper, we have won 38 straight SWAC matches in a whisper. And I say that because I don't want to get caught up on what the journalists and everybody says, because you kind of got to keep your team focused and only work on those things that are before us and not think that we can rest on what we've done in the past. Now, I have the best group of young women that I've worked with here at Alabama State. So to tell you a little bit about my journey, I come from a family of 8. I had 7 brothers, and I was the only girl. I was the only athlete. All of my brothers really enjoyed music.
Wow.
So I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I played volleyball and basketball at LSU. I started volleyball really, really late. I started volleyball in the 10th grade, fell in love with it, played at LSU for 3 years, and went abroad and played professionally after that. Played in Germany, played for the United States, played in Italy, Parlo Italiano. I speak Italian, loved every minute of it. That's where I met my kid's dad, then husband. I have 3 beautiful children. All are in athletics. I have a senior that's at Oregon State playing football. I have a freshman female baby girl who's a twin who's playing volleyball at MSU Denver, Division II, and her twin brother is still here with me. We held him back a year trying to separate the twins so that we didn't get caught up in comparing. He just verbally committed to the Citadel. It's been a wonderful journey. I coached 5 years at the University of Memphis, where we went undefeated there a year and won the Great Midwest Conference and made a bid to the NC2A, first time and therefore now the only time in history. I don't think any of the other coaches have done that. Then I went to the United States Air Force Academy for 14 seasons, stayed there. It was the best place to raise my kids. And now I'm in my 7th season at the Alabama State University.
Wow.
So
and
you're from Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I'm just getting ready to key on that.
You're from Baton Rouge.
And I'm in Baton Rouge. What high school did you go to?
I went to Terra High.
Terra High? Okay. I've been living in Baton Rouge the past 10 years. I love your hometown. I'm making it my town now.
Well, let me tell you where I'm from.
Okay.
Valley Park.
Okay.
Valley Park. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And of course I love Baton Rouge. Of course I love Baton Rouge. Of course.
Of course.
So,
that's where I'm from.
So 7 successful years at Bama State. Blazing the trail now, and it's kind of cool that you. I'm gonna channel Nick Saban here, since you are an LSU graduate. You don't want your girls to get caught up in that rat poison that journalists spew. As far as you want to keep them focused and motivated. I just want to key on that because very rarely do you. Well, it's sometimes kids get caught up into what they've done on the field, and they do lose focus. So you keying on that to keep them saying, for them to have won 38 SWAC games in a row. That means you've been beating up on my Lady Delta Devils for a while, and I'm not too happy about that. And neither is my line brother that's on the phone also. We're not happy about your dominance. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy, but I'm not happy because your dominance comes at the expense of my Delta Devils. But it's good to see you doing well, on your way toward a potential another SWAC championship. And the season is down to almost the last week, right? Tournament time's coming soon, right?
It is. Yes, it is. The tournament is November 17th through the 19th, and it's going to be held at Jackson State University. We are playing tomorrow night in Lockhart Gymnasium in Montgomery, Alabama, against Jackson State. That is our last conference match. We are currently 17-0, so we have definitely secured the first place spot going into the conference tournament. So there's still a lot of things, volatile things that can happen where teams can still move places right now. But we are okay. But like I go back to my girls' understanding, and I tell them this all the time, the pain of regret is far less than the pain of discipline. So you can't rest on what we've done in the past because it's all about what we're doing as we march ahead. And right now, it don't even matter that you walk into the conference tournament first place and walk out a loser because nobody's going to remember that. It's what you do at the conference tournament that's going to propel you to the big stage. So we've done and have met every goal that the team has. We sat down in preseason and we've come up with. And every tournament, they decided we want to come out 2-1, we want to come out 2-0 or 3-0. Well, they whipped up on some PWIs that have legitimized who they are and what they're capable of. We've beaten UAB, we've beaten Northwestern State, University of North Florida, Jacksonville University, Western Carolina University. We took a set off of Alabama, should have took them to 5, missed 4 serves. That was critical. But my girls are very capable. So what we've done was change the mindset, a state of mind, which is our slogan for this year. And I believe anything that you can create in your mind, you can achieve in your body. So if you want to be a champion, there's a certain way that you must train, you must eat, you must sleep, you must study.
Wow. And speaking of, your team beating PWIs, and with you being from Baton Rouge and being an LSU alum, have you all played LSU in your 7 years of being at Alabama State?
We have not. We was with LSU when we went to our very first NC2A tournament. However, I do play the Alabamas. I play the Auburns. I play the Floridas. And, it's just I don't want to, and I don't mean this in a bad way. In preseason, I prefer going out west and showing my kids something different than just driving 5.5 hours to Louisiana to play LSU. I prefer playing the Arizonas, the Arizona States, the Washingtons, the Oregon States, because they're still all in the top 50.
Exactly.
But I also want them to see another side of the country. My being a coach here, it comes with my philosophy is a lot larger than just being a coach. I'm a mentor. I'm a doorkeeper. I'm here to open doors that my kids see that there is more to life through this vehicle of sport. Let's go and see what California looks like, what Oregon looks like, what Arizona looks like. Because in no way do I want you to settle living in Alabama, or if you're from Tennessee, or if my kids are from Texas. You can live in a different region in our country and live a full life because the gift that God has given you has set the stage for you to choose what you want because you have a gift. Now use it to catapult you to your next part of your journey. One of my favorite players that just graduated from Alabama State University, was our libero. She was here on a presidential scholarship. She now works for Google. One of my other players from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, played for us and who was Player of the Year, actually had the opportunity to go play professionally in Denmark. Your gift that God has given you is used for you to open other doors for the next part of your journey, and to keep using that gift, because it's all about networking through your gift, which is the sport of volleyball.
Exactly.
Wow, that's true. That's so true. And I like the way you put that. Go ahead.
Another player of the year, another player from Memphis, Tennessee. She was Player of the Year. She's now in pharmacy school. I have a plethora of players that are all school teachers now. One who was 12th in the country in service aces. One that's now an assistant athletic director / assistant volleyball coach. All of this has allowed them to create a real quality life that they're living for themselves through sport, volleyball.
And one of the things that I find, before I start to ask this next question, one of the things that I find that's very dead on. You talk about the different routes and the different things that they chose, and the different accolades and different successes that they have achieved. The one thing that remains constant between every one of us on the phone out of an HBCU, that's the one thing that's constant. I never played volleyball. Derek ain't played volleyball. Patrick ain't played volleyball. You played volleyball. Everybody, we understand the HBCU value. And oftentimes we do not get the due justice that we need. So to hear that and understand that is a totally different thing. Like, people, we see it, we understand it because we come through it. Other people don't totally understand. So they don't understand why we put so much emphasis on the success of our athletes out of our HBCUs, because a lot of people don't know about it. Which brings me to my next question. Coach, what is your recruiting method? Do you have a method to your recruiting? Like, do you go out of state? Do you look in state? Are you next door? What is your recruiting method?
I go everywhere, and I've taken every opportunity, every let me see what I'll call it. I've taken all of my connects and have used it, whether I'm on the road teaching for USA Volleyball. I'm a cadre. So I travel the country, and I teach coaches how to coach. Whether I'm with my club, my volleyball club, I have my own travel volleyball club. Whether I'm on the road with them, I'm recruiting. So I take every avenue that I can, and I try and go find me a sleeper. So my kids are from everywhere. I have kids from Alabama, Puerto Rico, Tennessee, Texas, California, Illinois. My kids are from everywhere. And I believe we've done a great job in getting kids that really takes their education, first of all, seriously, because I don't believe in losing sleep over a kid that won't go to class. So I'm proud to tell you that my APR number and my graduation rate is 100%, is 1,000%, because it's important to me that you understand you're not just coming to play volleyball. Volleyball is a gift. It's a vehicle that you graduate from this wonderful HBCU, that you graduate and you take it seriously. And my program has done a very good job in having the parents understand on the front end. If your kid failed, it's not because we failed your kid. It's because your kid has failed herself. So,
now,
yes, it's very important. So we recruit everywhere.
Now, we talk about the recruiting and we talk about the importance, because we understand the importance of education, and I can see like that's one of your major components. The 2012-2013 was the large team academic award at the Alabama State Athletic, looks like banquet. How do you drive the importance of academics with your team?
they can't practice. If they're not making good grades, you don't get the opportunity to practice. And what I did was I took the philosophy from the Air Force Academy, excellence in everything that we do. So if you're not trying to be excellent in your classroom, you definitely can't be excellent on my volleyball court. So you miss practice, you miss matches. You miss matches, you can't play for me. It's real serious. And their hours. So if if Alabama State requires the freshmen to give them 8 hours a week of study hall, you have to give me 12. So you're going to give me 12 hours of study time. You are only going to be independent in my program and released from study hall if you've made back-to-back 3.2s GPA consecutive semesters. So, and if you can't do that, then you still have to go study hall. But majority of my kids are really smart, and they understand having the freedom to study and being able to manage their time effectively, how important that is. So if they want to go and have dinner with a boyfriend or do something, they're not stuck giving Coach White her study hall hours.
Well, coming from someone like myself who values academics, I love that. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Thank you.
You know, these young ladies are there to go to school and play volleyball, but you are ensuring that they will graduate with their degree and they will have 2 opportunities to make a living. 1, as a volleyball player, and 2, utilizing the degree that they earn from Alabama State. So that is awesome. Absolutely. I mean, could you imagine if other sports athletes or coaches, you know, focused on academics the way that you have? Kudos to you, Coach. Yeah. That is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I love that 3.2 little limit you have. If you make a 3.2, then you can get out of it. That means you don't necessarily need study hall if you're making grade point average like that.
Yeah. And I also make a point, you know, in volleyball, you know, you get a certain allotted amount of scholarships, and you can have unlimited academic scholarships, basically, if your kids can compete against all the other students that's trying to get in the university. Well, I think it's important that I get as many kids on academic scholarships to play volleyball for me, because those are the kids you least have to worry about, because they have to maintain a certain GPA in order to keep their scholarship.
Right. And like I said, that's an effective recruiting tool as well. I think it's very effective. Kels?
Yes, sir.
So I just love that. I mean, to utilize academic scholarships to grow and build your program. I mean, because you can imagine a lot of young ladies who want to play volleyball may think that they're not capable of playing on the next level. Well, I have an academic scholarship, but they play volleyball for their school. They play volleyball for a club, and they have the tools. And they run into a coach like you who can teach them how to improve their craft. And then, you know, they could potentially play overseas or also find jobs in their degree field.
Absolutely. I agree.
So
now, Coach, how many seniors do you have on the team?
I have five seniors.
Okay. So do you have 5 graduating seniors?
Yes, ma'am. They will graduate this spring.
Okay.
So do you recruit Mississippi in it? That's where I'm from.
Well, you know, Mississippi finally got volleyball. They finally brought volleyball to high school, and they finally have some travel teams that's getting there. So they are up and coming. And, you know, to be honest, Mississippi isn't on my radar. When you have a big Texas who's a hotbed for volleyball, and you got California and Colorado. So, you know, if I can find a sleeper, I would not pass her up. I just haven't found anyone in Mississippi yet.
Right. And to highlight another volleyball program, I would like to see this matchup. But have you paid attention to Xavier's volleyball team?
I have not, because aren't they NAIA?
They're Division II, the NAIA, but they just set the record for most sets wins in the state of Louisiana. I think it's like 24 straight sets that they've won, and they're undefeated in their league. It's just good to see. It's just another HBCU doing well like yourself in volleyball. I know we have the different divisions. I just like to see HBCUs doing well. And when we had you on, and then they were doing well, I just think let's say if you all won the SWAC and they won the GCAC, I mean, who knows? I would like that would be a dream matchup to have two dominant squads playing against each other. I agree. I just think it would be cool. I mean, they set the record. I think it was 26. Your LSU, which won 24, 25 sets in 89 and 90. Xavier set the record. They finished with 36 so far and counting.
Wow. Excellent.
So, and then when I saw you went to LSU and they broke LSU's record, so I was like, wow, that's just awesome, to just have HBCUs doing well in volleyball, you being dominant in the SWAC and Xavier being dominant in the GCAC. I just love to see that, because even though I didn't play volleyball on a team, I played growing up, recreationally, so I know the game a little bit, you know what I'm saying? For a guy, I could serve. I mean, I know the serves. I know a little bit about the rotations, you know what I'm saying, playing youth volleyball. I think at one point we played 9-man and you had the rotations and stuff like that. So it's been a while. I know the rules a little bit. I know about spiking, but I don't necessarily know what a dig is. What is a dig?
A dig is, let's say you spike a ball at me and I pass it up. They call that a dig. I've always wanted to know what. I know what a spike is. Of course, I know what a service is. I've never known what a dig was. Well, that's what a dig is.
And a kill. What's a kill? Is that when you block a spike?
A kill is a spike. Like I put the ball, I spike it down to the floor. That's a kill.
Okay.
No one could dig it up, or you couldn't play it. It terminated the play. That's a kill.
Right. So yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning kills. I mean, I've learned what a dig is. I've learned what a kill is. I mean, hey, I know my daughter is interested in volleyball, so I'm trying to get her into it. They at her school actually is trying to implement a youth volleyball team, but she's decided to stick with her running this year. But I'm going to try to see if I can get her into volleyball. She's 10. She'll be going into junior high next year, and I'm going to try to see if I can get her into playing volleyball.
Excellent. And you're in Louisiana or Mississippi?
I'm in Baton Rouge.
Oh, well, shucks. They have tons of programs there in Baton
Rouge.
Oh,
yeah. I used to work for Breck, and I know Breck has youth league volleyball. So I'm going to try to get her into that, because where we live now is close to Highland Park. So try to get her involved in some of those activities, and just to get her, get her used to the game. I mean, she knows the game. A good friend of mine used to take her to her volleyball matches she used to play, so she knows the game. she just hasn't played competitively.
Okay, good deal. Well, it's contagious, let me tell you.
Yes, indeed. Kels, you have anything else for Coach?
I do not.
Well, Coach, we're glad that you decided to come on with us. And when the season ends, after the season, perhaps you can come on and talk about how the season ended for you. And now that you have been a guest on Black College Experience, you're no longer a guest. You're a family, which means you or any of your players, if they want to call in and just, hey, we want to talk about HBCU sports or what's going on in the HB community, or just join in on the conversation that we're having, feel free. I mean, we like that around here. We're trying to get, more people to know that we're here. So just having you or your players or any of your peers just call in and want to talk about HBCU sports, your family now. You're part of the HBCU Black College Experience family.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Most definitely.
Thank you. Good night.
You bet. All right, good night. Bye-bye.
Good night, Coach. All right. So that about wraps it up, Kels. We talked about all the football games. We had an awesome conversation with Coach. It was amazing, the program that she's built at Alabama State. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to pick against them to win the championship. But I guess we'll find out once the season ends if they're able to walk away as champions, as Alabama State soccer team did today. So, I just can't wait to see what happens as the season comes to a close.
And also, before we get out of here, we want to give props out to Langston, who is undefeated. They did get that CSFL title. So props out to Langston for doing it. And also to Tennessee State, they shut out Virginia Lynchburg 60-0.
Oh, that was an easy win.
Yeah, they totally hurt them. So that's it. You have anything else?
Yeah, before I leave, I want to congratulate a Mississippi legend. PP, you're gonna like this. This is a man near and dear to Mississippi State University's heart, and also to Tsukulu College's heart. Lafayette Stribling, a man known for his awesome slick suits, was inducted into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. He coached at 2 HBCUs and a number of Mississippi high schools. So I want to congratulate him on being inducted into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. I also want to congratulate the members of the 2017 SWAC Conference Hall of Fame, Alcorn's James Williams and Ronell Young, Alabama State's Shamika Jackson, Mississippi State's William Brown, posthumous, Texas Southern Dr. Dwala Fisher, Prairie View A&M's Clifton Gillard, posthumous, and Patricia Jackson Southern's Dr. David Ponton Jr. and Arkansas Pine Bluff's Wallace Francis will be enshrined later on this month, November 30th. The induction will be at the Western Galleria in Houston, Texas, set to begin at 6 p.m. So congratulations on the new class of Hall of Fame for 2017 for the SWAC.
Oh, and then since we're there, I got to give props out to my boy, Brian Johnson. He was inducted into Southern University Sports Hall of Fame this weekend. Everybody that saw it said the same thing. Long overdue, well-deserved. Brian is an Olympian. I've already talked to Brian as well about coming on to do an interview. Brian is an Olympian as well as he played basketball, done track. He is a former assistant coach for Southern. He was also a track coach for UGA. He's now track coach for Alcorn. So Brian has been around. Very, very, very good guy. But once again, very proud of these guys that have been inducted. And that was one of my classmates, so that's why I stuck out. So congratulations to everybody that's been inducted in this SWAC class and just everybody that's been inducted just in general.
Right. I want to thank my line brother, PP. He's been calling in every week to give his insights on SWAC football. Of course, our alma mater, Mississippi State University. PP, we thank you for always calling in and thinking of us, giving us your time, and I just want to let you know I appreciate JLB.
No problem. I just want to give a quick shout out to the Valley. They won today in the Stribling Classic. Two Blue, they play that every year. Two Blue, they defeated Two Blue 86-76.
All right. Well, that's all for Black College Experience for tonight. Be sure to check in with us next Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are out of here.
Good night.
Shutterstock Music.